Hey guys, thanks for joining me. And if you like what you see, please subscribe.
Welcome, peoples. I am your disheveled EDC host, and I'm here to bring you the news of EDC and knife. There are some stories that I like to share every month, and is going to be my first attempt at giving you what I think is the juiciest gossip slash follow-ups to what is going on in the world of EDC. First, let's go ahead and talk about Metal Complex. Metal Complex has 500,000 subscribers. I think that is absolutely the most for anyone who does this kind of content. I don't always agree with his opinions, but that's okay. I don't always agree with his content, but that's okay. He's doing a service for all of us. He's providing a forum for all of our smaller channels to grow a little bit by his own popularity, because when someone starts following him, there are more often than not going to have pushed content to everyone else. So in a way, his getting to 500,000 means all of us get a little bit more subscribers who are making this kind of content. Also, I think he's already up to like 560 or 580 subscribers by the time he does his giveaway, his giveaway is going to be phenomenal. So everyone should follow that, because even though it's going to be like, 1 in 100,000 chance of you winning a knife, if you do win a knife, it's going to be worth like $500. Like, I think he's putting together a lineup of knives that he's going to be giving away that's going to be incredible. I do follow him. I do watch his videos, and I think that overall, I really appreciate his content, and I think that it's awesome, and I really appreciate what he's done for the knife community. So go ahead, check that out. If you don't know Metal Complex and you live under a rock, and somehow you're watching my channel instead, you're doing the wrong. You're living life wrong. All right, story number 2. Let's talk about Laren Thomas. He recently had a video, link up there, about AR-RPM9 and about how like it is mislabeled. Basically, he doesn't think anything nefarious has happened. A lot of people in the industry think that, not a lot of commentators or like comments are being made about like how like they're trying to cheat the system, and talking about how like AR-RPM9 isn't a really good steel. It is a fine steel. It's mislabeled. It's not something that's been done maliciously, let's say. This is Paul from the future. Actually, tomorrow I was looking over my news and I saw that Artisan Cutlery responded to the video from Dr. Laren Thomas, and I think it's really important, so I want to share it with you right now. I'm just going to read it real fast. You can find this on his community tab, on Laren Thomas's community tab. He posted it there. But before I read this, I just want to let you know, this is what good customer service sounds like. So I think this is really important, and I think that Artisan Cutlery is going about this the right way. So we at Artisan Cutlery CJRB would like to address the recent online conversation regarding the material naming convention for AR-RPM9 being misleading and not reflecting the technical process used in the form of this material. Any technical inaccuracies represented in the description and promotional material were not made with the intent to mislead, but rather reflect the gap of technical knowledge present in our past marketing practices. Now, that's exactly what Laren said, and it's exactly what I also speculated. We would like to take this opportunity to address a video released by Dr. Laren Thomas of Knife Steel Nerds on YouTube regarding his analysis of the properties of AR-RPM9. Like many members of the knife community, we found the content of this video highly informative and are grateful that someone with Dr. Thomas's passion and expertise is able to provide this degree of technical analysis and metallurgy material performance characteristics of our steel. So that's great. Like, they open up, they say, we thought this was interesting, and we like that Laren Thomas. They didn't attack him. They didn't say, hey, whatever. So the name Artisan Rare Powder Metallurgy Material 9 Element Steel was intended to create a standout name for marketing purposes. It represents what was at the time our understanding of the composition forming process used in manufacturing this steel. Based on the feedback of Dr. Thomas and other members of the community, we now understand that some sort of promotional language does not accurately reflect the technical characteristics of our material, and we would like to address some of the observations raised here. Microstructure analysis performed by Dr. Laren Thomas will confirm that We will confirm here that the process used in forming AR-RPM9 is proprietary spray form process by our steel supplier. So he was right. This isn't powder metallurgy. The patent for this process was translated into English, describes it as jet powder casting method. This terminology was misstated by our marketing department as powder steel due to a gap in our material processes knowledge when interpreting specific documents. We now understand this spray form process to be different from what is commonly understood as powder metallurgy. But at the time these promotional materials were produced, our marketing team was unaware of this distinction and sought to describe the material to the best of our technical knowledge. So, the people who are designing knives and making knives and buying the steel aren't the same people that are trying to market this stuff, okay? To continue, at Artisan Cutlery, we are focused on providing high-quality knives at accessible prices, and our technical expertise lies in our understanding of the material performance and reliability of the tools that we have produced. We regret the gaps in our technical understanding when producing promotional language unintentionally implied misleading information regarding our material forming processes. However, we stand by our performance at AR-RPM9 and by our supplier. We are happy to have been able to collaborate with the steel supplier to bring new materials, blah, 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 and for the last 4 years, and to keep our prices on our products competitive and accessible. They're absolutely correct about that. They do make good knives. They are cheap and they're accessible, and that is what we love about CJRB. You can't argue with their designs. So, yeah. We are in conversation with Dr. Laren Thomas, and we will be meeting with him to have a more in-depth discussion about the future of AR-RPM9. Please follow us for updates in the coming months. With gratitude to our customers, community, and fans, Artisan Cutlery and CJRB. So, again, this is an absolutely great response. It is somewhat damage control, but they're open to having a discussion, and they are going to talk to Dr. Laren Thomas, which is great. And I think that this is the way that a controversy in the knife community should be handled, is just with respect and conversation, and not necessarily flamethrowers. So anyway, back to the regular scheduled program where we talk about other controversies which are not as nice. Thanks so much, guys. If you didn't know, is also the person who came up with the configuration for MagnaCut. He's very smart, and he's someone you should follow. Some of his stuff might come off as dry, but honestly, I love his content, and I love the fact that it contains actual real facts from a doctor in metallurgy, and his content is incredible. So to break it down, AR-RPM9 is actually made out of 7 minerals, not 9, and it's not actually powder. It's not actually CPM. It's spray form. He explains this very well in the video. Anyway, so you need to watch the video. I don't think Artisan Cutlery is trying to make knives and mislabel them. I think that what they're doing is basically 9CR, which is fine. It's good metal and it's spray form, so it's better than 9CR. And I think that they just mislabeled it. And that's kind of what Laren Thomas talks about in that video. So check it out. Metal Complex also did a really good video about that. So tying in with that. Next story, Survive Knives. So this has all been at a slow boil for a couple of years. Survive Knives got a lot of parts, or rather, they got a lot of steel from Niagara, and they ended up like losing a lot of money because they said that there was a lot of voids, softness, different inconsistencies with the metal they got from Niagara. And he kind of half blamed Niagara and half blamed Peter's heat treat. The most important thing about this story is that we have 2 small companies. I think there's 38 people who work for Niagara, and they all have families to support. And then there's Survive Knives, who make incredibly good knives at a very good price. But they got in a little over their head, and a lot of their back orders for a long time weren't going out. And that was a problem. Now they're starting to catch up. Also, the person in charge, or the frontman for Survive Knives, is Guy. Guy has been the lead guy. John from Heavy Tactical recently bought a portion of the owner's share of it and has kind of taken over some of the lead point stuff at Survive Knives, which I think is great because John is honestly someone I trust and someone who puts out great content and someone who has a great collection and someone who knows what he's talking about. And I think he's going into this whole situation very level-headed. I see two companies that are kind of smaller, but very big in the EDC world. And I feel like they should both put on their big boy pants and they should both come together and figure out a way to make this all go away. That's what I really feel like should happen. I put out a video that had a couple of misconceptions, or I didn't have all the information, and it was kind of like, a news that I did this less rougher form of what I'm doing right now. Bob Shabala from Niagara Specialty Metals wrote me back. I want to read to you some of what he wrote in his response to the video that I did. Thanks for the time and effort you put into making the video. At the end, I think you said there were other people making CPM magnet cut. I was wrong. It wasn't clear, so I wanted to reach out and let you know that Crucible Industries makes the slabs and sells them to Niagara Specialty Metals. We process it into sheets, mainly for cutlery industry. No one else processes magnet cut into sheets. So if anyone has a problem with magnet cut, we are the sole responsible party to make it right with the customer. We have always been able to make it right. If someone experiences a problem with our product until now, we sell the sheets to distributors and end users to use and resell. We have processed over 600,000 pounds of CPM magnet cut and sold Survive Knives about 1,300 pounds. They bought 440 pounds from SB Specialty Metals, one of our trusted distributors. So he was just clarifying there, like how that worked. And I wrote him back, and then he wrote me back, and he said, we're a small employee-owned company, so what Survive was trying to do had a potentially large impact on the livelihoods of 38 families at Niagara Specialty Metals and 190 or so at Crucible. We'll feel it's important to reach out to let people know our side of the story or to answer questions they may have. To that end, yes, Crucible makes the CPM alloys in Syracuse, New York. Each heat batch is about 5,000 pounds. Each heat makes 3 billets that weigh 1,600 to 1,900 pounds. We take those billets and hot roll them into sheet or plate for a variety of industries. Crucible is the sole producer of CPM, and Niagara is the sole producer of CPM in sheet form, which is very important because the sheet form is what we get our blanks for knives. Crucible produces plate and rounds as well as raw powder for resale. Niagara produces all the CPM alloys, including magnet cut, for the knife industry. All right, and then he included some links to some videos about how that process is done. I like Guy. I like his product. I like Survive Knives. I think that they've been screwed over by some of the legality of everything. And I think that Bob is a great guy. And I think that he gives a good product and that Survive Knives is the only person who's ever given him a problem. And I think that both of them could get together and have beer and talk things over and everything would be fine. But they haven't done that. So that's my take on it. I don't know what your take on it is. That's just my rough take on that. So that is the news of EDC and Knife Talk. Thank you so much for joining me. I would really like for you guys to let me know what are the stories you think I should follow or that I missed. And I will do another episode when circumstances warrant it. If you like this content, please like and subscribe, leave a comment, and down below you find a link to Patreon. And at Patreon, for $3 a month, you can enter to win a Knife of the Month. So thanks so much, guys, and I will see you next time on Sharp Ends. Bye-bye now.